You're listening to the Yadidaleague podcast, sponsored by Metamucil. And now your host, Nicholas Reed.
It is ridiculous that they won't allow you to buy more Vicks Vapor Rub. That there's a legal limit on how much Vicks Vapor Rub you can buy. I don't understand it. Oh, hello and welcome to the Yadidaleague podcast. Jesus Christ. It is week 6 in the NFL, and we've got all your week 6 previews. But before that, we've got your winner of the week. We've got your loser of the week. We've got the standings, which are getting nice and juicy this time of year. Of course, we've got the weekly preview with your matchup of the week. So I say, let's get into it. Week 5 weekly recap.
The weekly recap.
Yes, your week 5 recap. And let's get into it. It was a huge week 5. A fantastic week 5. It was a week 5 to be remembered. I want you to think about that. Week 5, we had your matchup of the week, and it was the Jack Doyle rules against the domestically disturbed. You want to know how bad this one went for Jash Cash Stash? He changed his name from Jack Doyle rules to the Jash Trash, and he set his team picture as a dumpster fire. I appreciate that, but that's not going to let you escape from ridicule. Let's take a look at the numbers here. Of course, both teams are coming into this matchup at 1-3. They both needed a win in the worst way, but it turns out that Rob and the domestically disturbed put up enough points to beat Jash Trash, which wasn't much, and I'll break it down for you here. Rob and the domestics with 101.5, kind of a modest total week in and week out. You'd really hope for more than that, but when you're facing Jash Dumpster Fire, 66.5 points. Jash Trash Stash. You need to get your shit together. I've been saying it every single week. It's brutal, bro. I mean, you went against Tommy Terrific, 29.5 points. Almost beat half of your team right there. Rob also had Joe Mixon. Welcome back from knee scraping surgery. 19 points. George Kittle, 10.8. And on the Jash Dumpster Fire Trash Stash, he had Deshaun Watson, 23 points. And that was it. Literally, that was it. Other than the Cleveland defense putting up 12 points, which was his second highest scoring, quote, player. Jash Trash Stash. 1-4 going into week 6. Let's take a look at another matchup here. We had the check them stats going against the 40 Dicks, the 40-inch Didkas, as it is. The 40 Dicks just can't be stopped. Moving on to 4-1, putting up 138.4 points against the check them $25 stats at the table, 122.6. Looking at the numbers here, the 40 Dicks, Aaron Rodgers, 31.7 points. Pairing that with Devontae Adams, 26.5 points. Nice. As it is with the 40 Dicks, you take a look at the running backs, and they put up enough for him this week, but they're coming out of this matchup hurting. Matt Breida with 12.6. Kerryon Johnson, 9.5. Also A.J. Green with a respectable 16.2. Travis Kelce, 14.5. And when we check them stats, for the stats, we see an unbalanced point total here. Not bad. With 122.6, that actually would have beat a handful of teams this week. So it's not that bad, but he just went against the 40 Dicks, 138. But stats with 15.2 from Matty Stafford, 20.1 from DJ David Johnson, Keenan Allen, 13.5, Robert Woods with 17, Zach Ertz with 24, and Cardinals defense, 20 points. Was there anything he could do? Let's take a look at the bench. Maybe interchanging Jordy Nelson with fucking Carlos Hyde and then some other shit, maybe. But at the end of the day, that's a matchup he spent all week. The lineup he spent all week dwelling on, and that's what he went with. And there's no changing the past. Check them stats as 1-4, 40 Dicks, 4-1. Impressive start to the Yadidaleague. Let's take a look at our next matchup. The Jimmy Jesuses going against the CTE Brain Donors. handing the Brain Donors the second loss of the season. Jimmy Jesus put up 168 points this week, the highest in the league at 168. Let's take a look at the numbers. Jimmy Jesus with the Roethlisberger-Connor connection, good for 23.6 from Big Ben and 34.5 points from James Conner. You supplement that with Adam Thielen's 23.1, Ebron's 29 from the tight end position, 22.2 from the flex from TJ Yeldon, and Christian McCaffrey supplying 17.8. And the Brain Donors just never had a chance here. Drew Brees getting that record for passing yards or some shit like that. They stopped the game for a half hour. 34.2 points for Drew Brees. Then you had Ingram, 20.3. It just wasn't enough. And those were the players, the last players he had going. The rest of the team, mega insignificant point totals. Devontae Freeman, 5.1. Jordan Reed, 2.6. Alshon Jeffrey, 4.9. Rams defense, -1. I choked on my own spit. Thank you very much. 93.2 points. Not good enough in the Yadidaleague. Jimmy Jesus moves on to 2-3. CTE Brain Hunters 3-2. Next matchup here. Kansas Reedy Chiefs going against the Goros. And ladies and gentlemen, I was sweating this one, but it worked out for me. Kansas Reedy Chiefs 125.6 to the Goros 107.9. And the drama that happened with this one came down to Monday night, and it was Alvin Kamara needed something like 23 points, which is well within his reasonable expectation, given his talent and the offense he plays within. I mean, they throw this guy the ball 20 times a game. But apparently, they wanted to, for some reason, superstar Mark Ingram for the game and gave him most of the work. Alvin Kamara, 5.4 points. Not enough to beat the Kansas Reedy Chiefs. The Kansas Reedy Chiefs with, of course, Mahomes, Hunt, and Tyreek Hill, all scoring above 10 points, but not above 18 points, going against that Jacksonville defense. Melvin Gordon, 20 points. Stephon Diggs, 16.6. And Cooper Kupp, 18 points. Now, the way the Goros made it close was it was a little bit out of reach until one Todd Gurley took the field and just decimated the Seattle defense to the tune of 31.3 Yadida points, putting him within reach. But then, as we mentioned, Kamara didn't get the kind of workload that we're accustomed to seeing, and it didn't go the Goros' way. Reedy Chiefs 3-2, Goros 2-3. The last matchup here was the Mohamed Montgomerys going against the infamous Coach J. He's infamous, Coach J. They were both 3-1 going into this matchup. Huge matchup in the Yadidaleague. Coach J, he's just on a tear right now. He's got his big three working, and he's getting some running backs in there that are more than playing their part. Let's take a look here. Of course, start with the big three. DeAndre Hopkins against Dallas, 19.6. Odell Beckham Jr. against Carolina, 34.4. Jesus Christ. Antonio Brown against Atlanta, 29.1. So that right there is a lot of fucking points. You pair that with Cam Newton, 16.4. James White, New England, 18.7. And Chris Thompson's 9.2. It doesn't even matter that Ryan Suckup got 16 freaking points on top of that for 151.4, beating Mohamed Montgomery's 88.5, and the rather lopsided totals here with Saquon Barkley with 31.9 of the 88.5. That means there's not a lot else to go around. Matty Ryan with 16.4. He looks like he's injured after this matchup. Theo Riddick, for some reason, 3.3. Doug Baldwin, 0.6. What is that, a reception for 1 yard? Or something like that? Will Fuller, the fifth, 2.5. And Benjamin Watson with 5 points in itself. Of course, the greatest wide receiver to ever play football, Kenny Golladay, 17.8. Justin Tucker with a solid, all things considered, 9 points. Infamous Coach J moves on to 4-1. Mohamed Montgomery, 3-2. We got some questions that need answers. We got some fucking winners and losers of the week. I don't know how else to put it. So let's get into our winner of the week.
The winner of the week.
Now, this winner had 6 players score 17 or more points. This winner had a 1-3 record going against a 3-1 team. This winner set a weekly high score with 168 points. Your winner of the week, the Jimmy Jesuses. Winner! That's right, Jimmy Jesus. As I said, 2-3. He's your winner of the week. We had some honorable mentions here. Of course, the 2 teams that moved on to 4-1, Coach J and the 40 Dicks. I usually don't have honorable mentions, but it was very close. I just felt I had to give it to the Jimmy Jesuses in an underdog matchup. Winner of the week, Jimmy Jesus.
Winner!
Now, we had some losers this week. I want you to sit down. If you're a loser, look at yourself in the mirror. Are you the loser of the week? Do you feel like the loser of the week? Well, I'll tell you. Hit the sound effect.
The loser of the week.
Now, it's not the end of the world if you're a loser. Even if you're the loser of the week, you could still turn things around. But it must be known that you're a loser. The public has to know that you are the loser of the week, so that's why we are doing this on the Yadidaleague podcast with me, Nick Reedy, sponsored by Metamucil and McJensen's. This loser had 1 player score double digits. This loser spent $52 on a wide receiver with no touchdowns. This loser spent $50 on a running back that can't stay healthy. This loser had a running back tear his ACL this week. This loser is the only team under 500 points for. Who's your loser of the week? It could only be the Jash, Cash, Trash, Dumpster, Fire, Mustache, Trash Stash.
Loser.
I think I said trash 1 too many times. The Jash, Trash Stash at 1-4. He knows it. We all know it. So let's just put it out there for the official public record. Jash, Trash Stash is your loser of the week.
Loser.
Let's get into the standings.
The standings.
Some teams are starting to separate themselves because more weeks have happened. You follow me here? It's 4-1, infamous Coach J and the 40 Dicks sitting at 4-1. 3-2, we got 3 teams at 3-2. The Kansas Reedy Chiefs, the Mohamed Montgomerys, and the CTE Brain Hunters. 2-3, we got the Goros, the Jimmy Jesus, and the Domestics at 2-3. And then at 1-4, you got the Check Them Stats and the Jash, Dumpster Fire, Trash Stash going against each other this week. So there will only be one team with 1 win after this. There will be another team with 2 wins. Wow, great. Good job, the 2 of you. Points for. Let's take a look here. Kansas Reedy Chiefs leading the points for with 714.2, followed by infamous Coach J, 664.6. The Garos with 639.8. Mohamed Montgomery's 636.1. And in 5th place, the 40 Dicks with 636. Points against... Well, I should say to round out the points for, the Jash Trash Stash have the least points for. And then points against, would you guess it? The Jash Trash Stash has the most points against with 635, followed by the Domestics at 617.2, then the Check Thems at 616, and then the CTE Hunters at 613. And then what do you know? 5th place again. Points for and points against is the 40 Dicks. That is your frickin' standings. Let's get into the Week 6 preview.
The weekly preview.
Week 6 is just, it's got some blockbusters on it. Let's start off these blockbusters with the Jash Trash Stash going against the Check Them $25 on the table. Thank you very much. 2 teams of 1 and 4 converge on a path. One of them is going to go this way and fucking get their second win. The other is going to go that way and get their 5th loss of the season. Let's see if we could boil down. If we could figure out, I feel like eating a hard-boiled egg. Where can I get a hard-boiled egg at 3 in the afternoon? Anyway, I'll figure that out in the next couple of hours. 1 and 4 Jash against 1 and 4 Stats. Jash has got Deshaun Watson, who suffered an injury against Buffalo. Alex Collins against Tennessee. An injured Adrian Peterson. Julio Jones, who is that receiver who does not have a touchdown yet. Amari, 1.5 points last week. Koopa. Vance, 1.1 points last week. McDonald. Jay Ajayi, who's fucking injured right now. So the projections are going to be all over the place with this one. Check them stats. He's got Matty Stafford on a bye. David Johnson against Minnesota. Keenan Allen against Cleveland. Robert Woods against Denver. Zach Ertz against the Giants. This one projected to have the Stats win. Of course, we got some bye week issues, and these guys haven't set the lineups yet. I'm recording this on freaking Tuesday, so we'll see how that one plays out. Moving on to our next matchup, we got the Domestically Disturbed going against the Jimmy Jesus. 2 teams of 2 and 3. The projections as of now have Jimmy Jesus picking up his 3rd win. Let's take a look at the rosters here. We got Big Ben and James Conner going against Cincinnati. That's always a great matchup for fantasy. Christian McCaffrey going against Washington. Adam Thielen against Arizona. Calvin Ridley against Tampa Bay. Eric Ebron, 2 touchdowns Ebron, going against the Jets. TJ Yeldon against Dallas. For domestics, we got Tommy friggin' Terrific going against Kansas City. That's going to be a friggin' shootout. Oh my God. Ezekiel Elliott against Jacksonville. Joe Mixon against Pittsburgh. George, the man Kittle, going against Green Bay. Corey Davis against Baltimore. As I said, projected total has the Jimmy Jesus winning this one 118 to 112. Oh, the freaking Gardeners are here. Great. If you hear that, that's what that is. The Garos going against the Mohamed Montgomerys. Garos at 2 and 3. Going against the Montgomerys at 3 and 2. And this one, the projection does not make sense because it's got the Mohammeds losing by nearly 30 points. That's got to be bye weeks. And it is because, oh wow, Theo Riddick is on a bye. What is he going to do? And of course, the greatest receiver to ever be conceived and birthed on the planet Earth, Kenny Golladay, is on bye. So let's see. He's got some other options here. So it looks like he's going to be throwing Dalvin Cook out there. Maybe Mike Evans or Quincy Enunwa. Last time I checked, that was a dog food brand, I think. Matty Ryan against Tampa Bay. Saquon against Philly. And Will Fuller against Buffalo. Looking at the Garos, we got Kirk Cousins against Arizona. Todd Gurley II against Denver. Kamara's on a bye. He's going to have to sit a week and think about that. The Gronk versus Kansas City. Sonny Michel against Kansas City as well. Bye weeks. As I said, Kamara. So he's going to be looking to get one of... he's going to put Michel in there as his running back. And then he could substitute fucking... Taylor, Gabriel, Fitzgerald, or Jamison Crowder. Take your pick. It doesn't matter. So this one, yeah, you hear the gardeners getting going there. They got the leaf blower, clutch gardening instrument. This one, we'll see how it pans out. 3-2, Brain Hunters going against the 4-1 infamous, he is infamous, Coach J. This one has a projected total of JE to win by about 9 points. Let's take a look at the numbers here. Of course, JE has his big three: DeAndre Hopkins against Buffalo, Odell Beckham against Philly. That's got to be a huge matchup there. Antonio Brown against Cincy. You got to imagine that's going to be big numbers too. Cam Newton against Washington. James White against KC. Jared Cook against Seattle. On the CTE, Brain Hunters, he's got Drew Brees on a bye. So he's got Andrew Luck against the Jets. Shady McCoy against Houston. Devontae Freeman against Tampa Bay. JoJo the Smith-Schuster against Cincinnati. Demaryius Thomas against the Rams. Jordan Reed against Carolina. And Alshon Jeffrey against the Giants. So this is a huge matchup, although it is not a matchup of the week. Yeah. You ever get like a shooting pain from behind like your spine, down your leg, into your knee, through your toes, and then like back up through your hip? That's what I'm getting. The doctors called it. It's like a matchup of the week.
The matchup of the week.
Yes, it is a matchup of the week. It is not a sciatic nerve or some kind of stabbing pain, but it is the 40 Dicks against the Kansas Reedy Chiefs. Kansas Reedy Chiefs, yours truly, 3-2, going against the 4-1 40 Dicks, sitting pretty at 4-1. Let's see if I can do something about it. Most obviously, the Kansas City Chiefs going against the New England Patriots. That's a Sunday night football matchup. I got Mahomes, Kareem Hunt, and Tyreek Hill all going in that matchup, along with Melvin Gordon against Cleveland, Stephon Diggs and Kyle Rudolph against Arizona, and Cooper Kupp against Denver. On the 40 Dicks side of things, you got Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams going against San Francisco on Monday Night Football. On the same side, he's got Brady's replacement, Alfred Morris, going against Green Bay also on Monday night. Looking at the rest of the lineup, Crowell, who the 40 Dicks just can't seem to get right. He starts him when he gets 2 yards and benches him when he gets 219 yards. Looks like he's starting him this week almost out of necessity, going against Indianapolis. He's got A.J. Green against Pittsburgh. Travis Kelce, the one Chief that I don't have, going against New England. Sterling Shepard on Thursday night against Philly. We'll see how this one plays out. Projected total, because both lineups are rather set right now, has the Kansas Reedy Chiefs winning 119 to the 40 Dicks 107.1. But as we've said time and time again, ESPN projections are full of shit, but also because freaking nobody knows the future. What, are you kidding me with that shit? Get out of here. But that basically wraps up a Week 6 preview and our Week 6 podcast. I am Nick Reedy. This has been the Yadidaleague podcast. Have a good one, you freaking losers.